Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started talking about the Pain Project. I'm your host, Professor LaTanya White. I'm an entrepreneur, an educator, and a mentor with about 4 years of professional sales experience. I'm knocking on 10 years as an entrepreneur, a community leader and servant leader as a member of Leadership Tallahassee Class 27. I previously served as a business analyst for the Florida Small Business Development Center Network, and as a global entrepreneurship educator, I've contributed to the learning and the growth of entrepreneurs in Bali, Indonesia, and Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I am mom to Sparrow. You see her down in the lower right-hand corner, and just as recently as this year, 2016, I became a published author and speaker. So what's the one thing that frustrates you about ... Dane Maxwell, a serial entrepreneur and the owner of several, maybe 3, multi-million-dollar software engineering companies, actually built all his businesses without having any idea of what he was going to do, simply because he asked this question. In the documents that accompany this video lecture, there is a link to the interview where Dane talks specifically about how he was inspired to ask that question in the businesses that were birthed from the responses that he got. And what he does is, that's the process of the Pain Project. And for what you're going to be doing in replicating your own Pain Project process is identifying 5 people of diverse backgrounds, and diverse meaning their ethnicity, age, income, or education level, and you're going to conduct a 2 to 3 question interview. This does not need to be any more involved or any more intense than the 2 or 3 questions that I'm going to give you. And it'll vary whether it's a 2-question interview or a 3-question interview based on whether you need inspiration or if you already have an idea. So if you need inspiration, the question that you ask: what is the one task, or rather what is one task or activity that you complete on a regular basis that frustrates you? That's it. That's the question. Nothing more needs to be asked than that question to start with. Now, if the person in their response hasn't already given you the answer to why this frustrates them, that becomes your first follow-up question. And then if it's needed, because people will often tell you more than you ask them, you'll want to follow up with asking what do they think is the best solution to the problem. And this is important because we often create solutions that we want to see, but it's not always an indication of what the market is willing to pay for. Now, if you have an idea, all you do is put the question into context. So what pain or frustration do you experience with shopping in Tallahassee, with starting your business, with marketing your business on a regular basis? So you exchange out XYZ for whatever context you're asking the question in. This, of course, implies that the people that you're interviewing are people who could potentially be your customers, clients, or patients. So you have to make sure that you're starting with asking the right person. And then that follow-up question is, what do they think will solve that pain or frustration for them? What we do with the Pain Project, we use it to connect the dots between what we want to do and why we do it. So your golden circle, and the golden circle is a concept launched by author and researcher Simon Sinek. He gave a TED Talk when he introduced this concept to the world, and you have a link to that video that kind of helps put this all into perspective for you. So your golden circle, though, should be reinforced by what you learned from the Pain Project. Now, let's go back here in the case that you need inspiration. So maybe you don't know what you're going to do, and certainly you don't know how you're going to do it. And naturally, that means you don't know why you would be doing it unless you've connected with something from the Pain Project, with one of the solutions or one of the problems that you've learned from the Pain Project in the case that you need inspiration. Now, if you had an idea, you probably still got 5 different answers because you asked 5 different people. But what you do to connect the dots is start to hone in on the things that resonate most with you, and that will be your why. So with the golden circle, and the Pain Project and connecting the dots to build a sustainable business, you first have to understand that you're committing to solving a problem for someone. That's the what in the golden circle. The products and services that address this pain are the how. How do you do that? And the way that the solution is monetized, or how businesses make money from this, is making sure that they can tell people through their marketing messages why they do it. Now, none of this means anything unless you have someone to sell to. So you have to connect these experiences, or connect with the people that experience this kind of pain, problem, or frustration, and that's your who. So the next step is actually pulling your who into the perfect prospect profile, which we'll talk about in another recording. But really, that's all there is to the Pain Project. Make sure that if you have questions that you get in touch, and we'll go from there.